Hi, this is Ben from CHAUVET, coming to you from outside the Muny in St. Louis, Missouri, America's oldest and largest outdoor theater. We're here on opening night for the show Dreamgirls. We're going to take a behind-the-scenes look at the production and also have a talk with the lighting designer Seth Jackson.
I'm strictly the lighting designer on the entire Muny season. That's all I'm dealing with, so it's kind of a welcome thing. The pace of this place, I wouldn't want to do much else than just that. I started meeting with the new artistic director, Mike Isaacson, and he's just coming on this season as the executive director. He really wanted to move the ball down the field technically. And he and I were introduced through some mutual friends, and he was kind of like, can we just meet once a month and have coffee and let me show you all this stuff about LEDs and LED walls and all these things, and you tell me what I'm missing and what I'm not seeing. Great. So we struck up a really good friendship, and then the gentleman who has been designing out here was unable to return this season at the last minute due to some family issues. I got a call in very late in April, panic-stricken of, can you do this? Can you light this season? And it didn't take me but about 5 minutes to figure out how to clear my schedule and say absolutely. The daylight factor is the killer. You don't have the opportunity to really see this under light, and a lot of the fixing and things you do are happening with 10,000 of your closest friends on opening night because you have only gotten 4 hours of darkness and then you're in front of people. So it's a ride.
Doesn't make you feel alright.
Our opening show at the Early Modern Millie, we only got Act 1 in, and then it poured down rain, and we never did Act 2 until it was in front of everybody the next night. You just have to kind of learn to trust your instincts and trust what you're doing, and so you write so much of the stuff in the blind, and you're just looking at numbers on the screen. And it's a little easier now that I've done several shows because I know what the levels will respond to. But yeah, the first one out of the gate, to lose your second act, it was kind of like, okay, well, we have the first act as a reference. We know how that looks, so maybe we can knock it out.
Here and take another attack. You've been careful with Curtis behind my back.
The truss towers are a signature thing of Dreamgirls. It's been around since the show was on Broadway in the early 70s. Michael Bennett choreographed the show with those moving towers in mind, and I don't even know exactly how they managed to have lighting and wires and all that dealt with on Broadway back then, but with this size stage, we just knew that we had to go to a wireless battery-powered LED product, or it just wasn't going to be able to be fluid enough, because they create scenes with those things. The actors move them around. There's a lot of activity with them, and they are the signature look of Dreamgirls. The stage is 94 feet across, and those 6 towers are driven by actors as choreographed moves on stage. It would be impossible any other way to have working lighting in those units without, and they're 16 feet tall. So, you know, they're large pieces, and anything of a cable or anything even close to that would have just been impossible to deal with. Likewise, the kind of lighting and the amount of lighting we could have put in them if we'd done some kind of a car battery and a par or whatever, it would have just been very lackluster. So that, you know, to have 5 Freedom Pars blasting out and to have the well lights uplighting the truss, it's just way more than we ever could have gotten with anything else. Everybody's been really happy about it. The electricians are happy with the ease of it, and the reliability of the wireless transmissions seems to be doing great. They look terrific. Brightness and everything is reading really well, and that's in broad daylight, so we'll see tonight for the first time. There's 2 things that happen here. One is the distance and the variance of seats and how far people are away. The other thing is the time factor that is available to you, because obviously being outdoors and running other shows, there's not a lot of time with the lights out to actually see what you're doing. These shows are written in the blind, and you start to learn very quickly. It's like nuance, not so much. You know, you've got a broad stroke. You know, you've got to complete the thing. That's the key factor, is to stay on schedule and to stay up with everybody and try to make the thing appropriate to the piece and interesting and all that. But it's not a traditional theater process where you could hold the actors in place and really refine a look. You don't have that kind of time. time. You've got 4 hours, so go.
We hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at the Muny and their production of Dreamgirls. Stay tuned for further episodes of On the Road with CHAUVET.
Thank you and good night.